Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back again with another video. In this video, I want to talk about your friend circle and why it matters way more than what you think. So everybody heard that you are the average of the 5 people you hang out the most with. And this is 100% true. And the reason why is because whoever you're surrounded yourself with, their energy, their belief system, and whatever it is gonna rub on you to a certain degree. Because whether you like it or not, our brains kind of get influenced by our daily experiences. So if you're surrounded by 5 people that are all losers, then turns out you're probably gonna become a loser as well, because since those are the people you're gonna be seeing every day, they're kind of gonna be the references that you're gonna go by, as you live through your life, right? So that's why you're gonna probably end up more dumb if you hang out with dumbass people. Now, if you hang out with smart people, then the opposite can be true. You're gonna be more smart, and I'm not just talking about intelligence here. I'm talking about values, culture, everything, that has to do with personality, right? Personality traits. If you hang out with a bunch of clowns, a bunch of funny people, you're probably gonna be more funny, right? Now, let's actually talk about why it's important that you actually change your group and actually level up a little bit more. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, yeah, this is common sense. Why do you have to tell us this, et cetera, et cetera. Well, truth is, yes, it is common sense for a lot of people, not everyone, by the way. However, for a lot of people, even though they know this, they're not gonna do shit about it. They'll keep that shitty circle of friends around them. And the reason why is that they're so programmed, they're so comfortable in their comfort zone with those people that they know, that despite learning this information, they won't make a change. They won't try to be like, okay, you know what? Those people are fucks. I'm gonna step away and do my own thing. Because a lot of people, sometimes they have this wolf pack, right? These bros that they knew their whole life since they were little kids, right? And they want to be loyal to them. But here's the thing, guys. What the fuck is loyalty at the end of the day, right? Why are you selling yourself? Why are you buying into this loyalty thing like it owns your soul? Did you choose to be in that pack? Or were you just kind of dragged in because that's all you knew at the time? Think about it. If that's all you know, then you probably didn't even choose that pack. You just kind of went with the flow and stuck with it. But why do you have to stay and stick with them in the first place? Why? You like them? They're your friends or your homeboys. They'll sacrifice everything for you, whatever. Okay, cool. I'm not saying you have to betray or do this or do that. No, stay cool. But why should you associate yourself with people that are keeping you down if you're trying to level up? Why? You're sacrificing yourself for a group of people that you don't want to become. And if you're watching this video, you probably want to change to a certain degree. You need to have boundaries. You need to be like, all right, you need to evaluate yourself. You're gonna be like, all right, how do I see myself? Do I see myself as intelligent? Do I see myself as this? Do I see my potential? Do I think I have potential? Do I think I can actually achieve greater things and things I actually want to do with my life, but I'm being held back? If you are feeling this way, if you do feel like I have a purpose that I want to achieve and goals that I want to achieve, but no matter what, I can't get there, then you should start analyzing your friend group and people that are in your lives around you and people that you hang out the most with. Because it turns out, most of the time, those very people that you're hanging out with, they're the people that are keeping you down. So the best thing to do is not necessarily replace them. If you can replace them for high value people, then that'll be fantastic. But odds are it's probably not gonna happen, because think about the people in the higher frequencies, right? The people with better friend group, better status, etc., etc. They're probably not gonna want to hang out with you because your frequency is probably the same one as your friend group, right? So in order to level up your circle, level up your life, first things you need to do is you need to isolate yourself from that friend group. And I don't mean oh, we can't hang out anymore, blah, 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 or I do this. No, you have to actually separate yourself. You have to be like, listen, guys, you guys are my homies. You guys, I fucks with you guys a lot, whatever the case is, but I got a mission. So I'm locked in right now. I got to do my stuff. Oh, but we have this party. No, I'm not going. Oh, but we're going to go for this weekend boys trip. I'm not going. Oh, but we're going to do that. I'm not going. You have to set your standard, your boundary, your frame in place in order to go with your purpose and your goal. You have to eliminate this degenerate stuff and focus on whatever you want to accomplish. And that will require sacrifice. Again, I don't mean you just tell them, no, fuck off, I'm never gonna see them again, you guys are not my friends anymore. No, you can stay cool with them. but you need to separate yourself and fulfill your mission. A lot of people, talk about my tattoo, my Berserk tattoo, right? There's actually a part in Berserk where you have Guts, aka the main protagonist. It's a little bit of a spoilers, but it's not that deep. But basically, they conquer an empire, right? They won wars, they're chilling, and they're over here like partying, with the whole squad. They're partying it up, drinking, having fun. They acquired, the empire. They did what they were supposed to do. And the main character, Guts, he doesn't feel like he's satisfied with where he's at, and he feels like he can still level up and do more things. So what does he do? Instead of staying with that friend group, the people that he knows, and the people that, his friends, I guess, his only friends at the point of the story, he goes out and leaves to go grind. And then later on, a lot of things happen in between, but when he comes back, his friends are still there in the same position. They didn't level up. They're pretty much, the exact same position, from when he left, but he leveled up a lot, right? But he still came back to them and they're still cool with him because for them, it's like, whoa, he went to like a side quest and he came back, right? So that's why you want your friends to believe that you're going on a side quest, tell them, like, listen, my boys, etc., but I'm going on a side quest right now. I have something to accomplish. That's it. And go ahead and accomplish that. And then over time, by you being disconnected long enough with yourself, finding your purpose, finding what you want to do, right? And then maybe, watching these videos from me, watching other videos from high value people that are actually giving you good insights, right? Then you're going to start to adapt a new mindset, just by being by yourself. And then that's going to attract higher circle of friends and higher circle of people around your life, which is going to bring you up, right? And then I don't mean you're exchanging them for other higher value people. That's not what I'm trying to convey here. I'm saying you're going to create new groups, but at the end of the day, if you want to come back to your boys, one day and be like, all right, guys, I'm back. You can go back to them and they're going to be happy to have you there, right? But then this is just a warning. You might feel some certain type of ways with the way that they are. Because let me give you guys an example with me personally. I had my group of friends when I was in the US, but they were kind of like losers. I'm not gonna lie. They were losers, big time losers. They had some positive traits to them, obviously, or else I wouldn't have hanging out with them, But as soon as I left, moved countries, lived elsewhere abroad, right, for many, many years, like almost a decade, and then came back to the US, and then I finally saw a couple of those friends. What I found was just disappointment. Because as I leveled up, coming back to that circle and seeing the way that they are, it felt like they didn't change in 10 years. It felt like they stayed the same people from when I left. Whatever I talked to, there's like a disconnect. Because I realized that I did all this leveling up and they stay there and they're stuck in this vicious circle. And this is when it clicked to me. I was like, fuck, like, had I stayed with this circle, had I not moved, had I not leveled up elsewhere, I would have probably still be in that same level as those people, as my old friends. Now, I still see those people as my friends. I'm not saying that, they're not my friends anymore and stuff. No, I still follow them. They're still friends of mine. But I'm not gonna necessarily associate myself or hang out with them anymore, lower myself just to be with them anymore. No, if I'm ever gonna hang out with them, like that again, they have to level up to my level, right? That's my new standard now. But it's just to say that your friends, a lot of times, the people that you hang out with the most, they're keeping you down. And no matter the loyalty, but they're my day ones, whatever. Again, you didn't really choose it in the first place. They were just it's just what you got, from when you were born, from when you were little, right? So you have to understand, sometimes you have to sacrifice this. Doesn't mean you're betraying them or whatever. You're just going for a side quest. And as you level up, as you become more and more and more, you can always come back to that circle, but you might see things different and you might actually be grateful that you actually left in the first place, right? That's what I want to try and talk about in this video. I hope that makes sense. Drop a like. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and catch you guys with the next video. Peace out.